tell people it's like three immigrant women helping one another in the city of angels, because they are the angels that night.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Kogan. I am here with Lisa Cole, the director for Bienvenidos a Los Angeles, which is an Oscar eligible short film. I was the costume designer for it, and we're just really excited to share the film with you and tell you why we think it's a great film and why we hope you vote for it in the Academy.
Yeah.
Lisa, welcome.
Hi, good morning, Sarah. It's so great to see you again. I
Yeah.
miss seeing your face. We
Same.
were filming or getting ready to film this time. Actually, gosh, almost 2 years ago. Crazy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to chat. I think first give everyone a sense of, what the short film is about and why you decided to tell this story.
Yeah, it's called Bienvenidos a Los Angeles, like you said. And it's a short film inspired by a true story of the time my dear friend attempted to reunite with her young son coming back to California from Mexico. And he got detained by immigration at LAX International Airport. And so it's really a story about what happens that night. It happened actually kind of a long time ago under the Obama administration. A lot of people don't know that he actually deported more people than any president at that point. And but it wasn't until the Muslim ban from another administration that at the same time that was happening, I was infuriated hearing the stories in the news of how it was disrupting so many people's lives. There's a lot of women in the same boat, especially mothers that could relate to what she went through, and still today. And then of course the numbers of immigration are worldwide and migrants worldwide. It's only getting worse, unfortunately. So anyway, it's a timely subject matter in that sense. And so we set out to make a short film to put a face of humanity on a really complicated issue of immigration.
I mean, it's one of the reasons why I was drawn to the story. You had said earlier to me that it's about telling a story that reminds people that there's a place, a world for everyone and a place for everyone, which I think is really true. And what I really loved about the story was instead of the characters seeing one another's differences and holding that as a reason to withhold support or withhold their, love, their version of love in that moment, right? Love can come to me, love is a spectrum and can be the love of a parent or just the love of humankind. And that these women band together to in love and in the value of motherhood and in the value of human life to support one another, even though they don't know one another, which I think right now is very much a story that we could use and hear and see. I know you've heard me say this, that we tell stories because they give us examples of how we could live our life in the future, right? And they inspire us to see another way of going about the world and life. And this story to me is one of those stories that really supports that.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, 100%. And not to give a spoiler of the film, but the ending as a hopeful ending, because their story actually had a really kind of hopeful ending, which is not the case for many immigration stories. But it's all because a person in a position of power decided to lens the situation through eyes of love or eyes of understanding, rather than just a black and white rule book. And so we know that what happened that night only happened because of this family separation is heartbreaking, but it's a reality, unfortunately, for so many people, and it feels very unjust.
So good. I know the story and I still get emotional about it. Let's talk about bringing the story to life and the actual filming and making of Bienvenidos.
I used an immigration attorney, a different one, a South Asian woman named Samangala Bhattacharya. I utilized her expertise to help develop the script, because there's some fictional characters in there. And then there's a former ICE agent who worked at San Francisco International Airport for many years, who was also a consultant for me, that was a father of a friend as well. And yeah, it was really helpful to get into the mindset of all these people. And I had COVID to thank for that, in terms of taking my time with the script and getting it right. And
I mean, we got to shoot at LAX, which when I tell people that, they're like, how did you do that? And I was like, I don't know, but it was so much fun. We were so lucky.
yeah, we were. It took 5 months to finesse, I'll be honest. Everyone even people on my team were like, don't even try, it's so hard. And I talked to professional location scouts and producers of big television shows and movies and friends of ours, and they were all like, Lisa, don't even, you're a short film, it's going to be expensive, it's going to be it's difficult, really difficult. And I knew that we couldn't just like roll up in guerrilla style and steal the shots or whatever, because that wasn't the way we were doing things. And we were a SAG production, and it was COVID, and like, so I knew that there was no way we could just like, oh, steal some shots. Like some people think they could do that. It's not going to happen. And so it took me 5 months. I went and scouted with my DP and a production designer on a big weekend when they were here, and then I did my other scouting on my own. But basically, I went and saw everything in a 2-hour radius of LA that might work, including other airports, including the Van Nuys like bus terminal that people use a lot that doubles as an airport, but it's just nothing was right. It needed to have that scope. It needed to have the feeling of LAX. It needed to be LAX. And I just wasn't going to be able to recreate that anywhere else. And so I just said, well, I'm going for it. It's going to happen. And usually a lot of times when I put my mind to things like that, I can manifest them. And I know you operate in the same way, so I just wasn't deterred by the naysayers. So they say no. I've learned no just means new opportunity. So
I love that. I have not heard that. NO, new opportunities. I'm gonna share that one out.
That, yeah. So it was a lot of like emails, calls, lots of emails. I think I went there 3-4 times in person ahead of time for different meetings, met different heads of this and that, and maintenance and operations, and the supervisor. And so I'm friends with John. I think his title is Superintendent of LAX World International Airport. And I'm also friends with John, another John, who's the Southwest Airlines terminal manager, because we ended up being able to film in their brand new gorgeous Terminal 1 at LAX. And they have four baggage claims carousels, and they reserved number 4 for us, which is actually like owned by another organization. So it's really interesting learning all the behind the scenes of LAX. And then it was an overflow carousel, which means it's a live environment. There's nothing that you can do. You cannot stop the live environment at LAX. So you have to be fluid. You can't lay cable down. We had to build our lights so that they were on wheels and could move easily. And you can't actually stop any passengers from like walking through your shot. Like you have to respect the fact that it's a live environment and be kind of lean and mean. I think we were a 23-person crew, which was much bigger than I wanted, but at the same time, it was necessary to pull off LAX, and it's still small enough that we could like not encumber the live environment, right?
Yeah.
Not hinder, the live environment. So but we were well prepared. We did run into some snafus because there was a snowstorm in Minnesota that night. And our call time was 6 p.m. We were hoping to get the first shot off by like 8:30. And right at 8:30, they told us, oh, we need the baggage claim carousel, which is where we were going to shoot first, for this plane that all the passengers can't get to Minnesota, so all their bags are coming off. So we had to wait like 45 minutes, which when you're on a clock, you have like a 12-hour shoot or less, actually. I forget how many hours it was we were allotted, with SAG rules and everything. And then we had a studio teacher and a kid that night. Oh my God. So we were stressing, and we did lose quite a few setups for one scene, but fortunately that scene, it worked, where we kind of just did it in a master. And we did a slight push in and post and edit. And it works. And thank God it was that one particular scene that we had to sacrifice in terms of time. And there was one other thing we didn't get to film, but I don't really miss it too much in the film without it. I really wanted a shot of Imani standing in front of the arrivals board with like all the different cities, and a really cool shot, but we didn't get it. But I'm friends with the Southwest terminal manager. I text him sometimes because I try to fly Southwest exclusively now because they were so awesome to me. And I love that airline anyway. And so Dawn brought us 2 bottles of champagne our last night there. Like they stayed all night. They didn't have to. Like we were paying other people to stay that we had to pay, you know. These guys just wanted to be there. They were so excited because we were the first film since COVID, and we were filming during COVID, construction, and Christmas. So it was nuts. But I was like pinching myself, going, are we really filming at LAX? Is this happening right now? Like it was really cool. Yeah. It went really seamlessly, other than the
Yeah, it
snowstorm.
was.
You fell and sprained your ankle or something, I remember.
Oh yeah. I like sprained it getting gas on my way to set. That's right. I forgot about that. Let's talk like the characters. You and I had a lot of conversations around color palette with them and about who they were and really being clear on their character through their clothing. So could you talk a little bit about that process?
Yeah, I will do my best to remember. I know that working in your workshops was so helpful, and you were so amazing to collaborate with. And I feel like you added so much to the production. Not only that, but you saved our ass a couple times last minute with big saves. So thank you for that.
My pleasure. I'm an
Yeah,
all in, as you know.
you are so all in. You're a dream to work with. Not only that, but just a cool human too. But yeah, so I mean, well, one thing I wanted to be respectful of was the skin tones of the women and being sure that they were shot beautifully. And working with Jackson, he's actually a Caucasian cinematographer, but he's done a lot of filming of women of color, and he works a lot with the Trinidadian director Maya Cozier. And that's how I met him, actually, was through Maya, and they've shot a feature together and several shorts and commercials, and so he knows how to light people of color really well and look beautiful. And so that was really important. And then, yeah, I remember we crafted the character uniforms, costumes, sorry. Some of them were uniforms, but so some of them kind of dictated like what they had to be in terms of, like the ICE agent. There were certain colors that they could wear and have it be authentic. And then of course for the doctor, he had to have a white lab coat, but the women, I know we worked with Imani, the lead character, and we wanted something that complemented her skin tone but that felt really soft and safe. And I know we went with this beautiful kind of teal blue color that represented that. And she's like an ocean away from her homeland of Nigeria. So for me, that blue also encapsulated, I don't know if we talked about that, but it kind of like encapsulated that feeling. But we wanted something where the women would kind of blend together they get in a ride share together in the story, and that's how they meet, right? And so I wanted it to feel very womb-like inside of the cab, the rideshare, because it's the 3 immigrant women. It's the South Asian female driver who's older and who's a grandmother character who's been in the country for like 20 something years, and never got her green card because of one little mistake that happened back when she had registered to vote. But we don't even really know that story, but it was crafted in the movie, but I mean, it was crafted from a true story of how like mistakes can like haunt you for the rest of your life when you're going down this path as an immigrant in America. And so yeah, for the two leads, the co-leads, so it would be Imani in the blue, and then Stacey had a more muted kind of green khaki kind of color, and they complemented one another well. And the green was an extension of, so there's so many red warning signs and red representing stop in this situation and at LAX, and it represents like the law, and it represents just hindrances to your movement.
We definitely had talked about wanting the women to be, our two main women being an opposite to that for that reason. And then a little bit like, I know you and I talked about whether it was blue or green for Amani, or at least this is my recollection. And we were like, well, blue is the color of heroes. Blue is safe, right? Soothing. But then, I mean, and green is also soothing. And if we pushed her a little more towards green, she would be more in opposition to that red. And I remember us having those kind of conversations when choosing the colors.
Yeah,
And
they're also feel very rooted in nature to me, because blue is representative of water and sky, and green the earth and tundra and so much. But it also represents free passage and something simplistic like go versus stop.
Yeah.
And so the car was actually a green. That was a definite choice that was important to me, that the vehicle they were riding in be green. And it was an old green Subaru that we rented through the camera car company. It was perfect for that reason. And then the little boy has a green toy car, and his suitcase is green, his little roller bag, and his jacket had green in it as well. And his mother is in different khaki colors. And so all of that is, feeds into the psychological aspects of the character and in the film, right? The feeling that we were going for, and that the women felt very grounded and safe and representative of freedom, because the United Nations has, and I'm forgetting the number now, but there's one of their key components is freedom of movement, and that everyone should have that inalienable right to freedom of movement. And so that's kind of what we wanted to represent, that vehicle and that opportunity and the love between those three women, that it's really like, I tell people, it's like three immigrant women helping one another in the city of angels, because it's kind of like they are the angels that night, and it is pretty much all women, and the men, sadly, the men in the film represent hindrances, because there's only two guys, except for the little boy who's obviously male, but the doctor is having to let her go due to the Muslim ban. He has to let her go, so she's losing her employment, and then he does it with compassion, but still, he could have fought for her, and he wasn't,
For a
and
mom.
then there's also another male who's a traffic cop at LAX, and he's really abrasive and jarring, right? And yelling at the women and telling them to get moving, to get going, get out of here, like get the hell out of here, like we don't want you here, kind of thing. But from a traffic standpoint, right? But
I think it was great. We were like about to roll, and somebody came up to be like, "Hi, where do I go for this?" And we're like, "He's not a real traffic cop. We're shooting. You see the camera?" And like, oh, so that was an amazing. I thought that was pretty amazing that we were able.
That happened to Yvonne too, because she was wearing the immigration uniform.
I missed that.
Yeah, there was somebody coming up. Actually, it was a really sad story. They were wondering about how they do asylum, and they were kind of begging her for help. Yeah, it was horrible.
Must have been doing something at that time, or maybe I think my ankle.
That was intense. Yeah, whenever you wear a uniform, it's like it looks so real thanks to you.
Yeah, I mean, we did our job to cover it up between takes, because that is FY, if you're listening and you're not in film or you're worried about that, between takes you are required to, whenever representing any sort of government law enforcement, to cover up. So we did do that. It may not sound like that, but we did make a very conscious effort to make sure that that was the case. I think
right, but because it was a live environment, there wasn't a separation between us and the public, so sometimes they were filtering through, although there weren't a lot of people because we were filming in the middle of the night, so it wasn't too crazy. Well, actually, it was pretty crazy until about, I think there's like only a small window between like 1:30 and 3 where there's kind of nobody there.
Yeah, that was
a few people sleeping there, but
oh man, it was a night.
Well, I hope I answered your question.
I think so. I know you have to go run, so I just wanted to thanks for having this chat and conversation about the film. Anything else you want people to know when they're looking at this in this kind of season of for your consideration?
Gosh, we're really excited to be a contender for the 96th Academy Awards in the Best Live Action Short Film category. So if you know a voter or you are a voter, please think about our film, Bienvenidos a Los Angeles. We are a small little film, small but mighty. It would mean the world to us to be shortlisted, and it's just it's a cool honor to have made it this far. We won the 2023 Diversity in Cannes Short Film Showcase, and which is sponsored by Viola Davis, and we have, I think, like 18 or 19 wins under our belt. It's been a really a wonderful year of festivals, and we just signed a month ago with a sales agent out of Toronto Hopefully we'll be announcing soon where people can see the film, because right now it's not available for public viewing as we set up distribution deals. So we're very excited about the future and it having a future, thankfully, because that's the whole reason to make the film, right? Is so that people can see it. And you kind of hope to change, you do hope to change, I do anyway, hearts and minds through this powerful platform of cinema. So
that was great to talk to you. I so appreciate this. And everybody, Lisa Cole, the director of Bienvenidos a Los Angeles. Again, check out our film, or if you're in the Academy, or share it with someone in the Academy and ask them to check us out.
We do a short version acronym. It's BALA, so BALA. So balafilm.com is our website, or we're on Instagram at Bienvenidos Film. Or you can follow me at the Lisa Cole on Instagram, or Flying Fish Pics, PICS, Flying Fish Pics, which is my production company. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And all of those are tagged in this video, so you guys can find them very easily and have no need to search for us. We've got you covered.
Cool. Well, I can't wait to, hopefully we collaborate again soon.
Same.